Thank you for your interest in Espire 1 VR Operative. This video gives a summary of the game's core systems: the control theatre locomotion mechanic, AI system, physics actor message system, and voice commands. The core philosophy with every mechanic we implement is to make the most of hand and head tracked VR with the goal of delivering an immersive stealth experience that can't be replicated on another medium. Espire 1 is a VR experience that offers complete freedom of movement with the goal of minimizing VR sickness. We achieve this using our control theatre concept, one of the game's core features. Within 4 seconds of launching the game, players find themselves standing inside the Espire control theatre, a holodeck-style room that is spaced to their physical playing area. From within the control theatre, players deploy the Espire Model 1 Operative on assignment, and then remote control the Espire from hundreds of kilometres away. Anytime the player performs any artificial locomotion, Espire's world shrinks down to the size of a floating iPad, with the control theatre entering the player's peripheral vision. This technique helps trick the brain into thinking, I'm not running upstairs, I'm not climbing on scaffolding, I'm watching Espire Model 1 do these things on a floating TV screen. This floating window, called the control viewer, follows the player's gaze with a delay. It doesn't feel like it's stuck to your head like a traditional game HUD. Everything inside this window is Espire's view, and everything outside is the world of the player. When the player's hands are within the control viewer, we can see Espire Model 1's hands, and when the hands are outside of this floating window, we see the actual VR motion controllers we're holding in real life. The floor of the control theatre remains in view at all times to help players orient themselves within their playing space, and any VR tracking errors are reported in-game as interference with the Espire control link. Grid lines and patterns appear on the walls of the control theatre, and some float in 3D space around the player. This allows us to maintain immersion. The player may have clearance to physically walk 3 feet forward, while Espire Model 1 can be blocked by a virtual object. The control theatre will be used to indicate the direction of enemy fire and other UI elements. It will also be fully customizable. Simple comfort levels will allow the player to modify various aspects of the control theatre system or turn off the peripheral theatre completely. With this VR within VR concept, we can offer complete, precise freedom of movement, minimize VR sickness, and maintain immersion. The second key feature is the AI. The enemy AI soldiers in the prototype are extremely rough, but already implement 24 different behaviour states. They will discover and wake unconscious enemies, can break from a hold-up situation, investigate noises, and radio for help, triggering a base-wide alarm if the player cannot incapacitate them in time. 4 global AI stages dictate how all enemy guards in the area will react to the player and respond to certain triggers. These 4 global stages also define which of the 24 individual AI states a particular guard could switch between at any given time. Enemies will respond realistically to suspicious situations, and if they can identify the Espire Model 1, they will sound the alarm. Once in combat, if the player avoids detection, the enemy will start a coordinated manhunt based on the player's last known location, before returning to their posts and starting a general search of their immediate area. The full game will feature many enemy types and non-security personnel. The prototype also has a basic implementation of security cameras, and the enemy will use flying drones, infrared and thermal imaging and other traps to detect the Espire Model 1 in the full game. Another core feature is our physics actor message system. This is one of the key features that really translates the stealth genre into the world of positionally tracked VR. In a nutshell, the physics actor message system gives natural sound to every object in the game. When 2 objects collide, the velocity, material types, object mass, and object properties dictate the radius of the resulting noise. This gives players a lot of creativity, flexibility, and realism as they approach each situation. There are also many factors to consider. You really have to be careful not to knock over stacks of objects if you want to avoid detection. The physics actor message system isn't just used for sound perception. If the player hits an enemy with a heavy enough object at the right speed, they can knock them unconscious. Another core feature is voice control. Espire agents are able to use voice commands to perform key actions within the game, such as causing distractions, holding up enemies, and making selections within the Espire console menu system. This adds to the immersion and allows players to perform many actions naturally without needing to bind these commands to a controller, which may have limited buttons. These are our core game mechanics. We have a comprehensive game design document that details these and other features. Thank you for your interest in Espire 1, and we hope that you can help us make this the definitive VR stealth experience.